We're going to start with the juiciest, most controversial game of the four. The Broncos and Bills, with the Broncos winning in overtime 33-30. I'm going to talk about that play coming up. Of course, you all know the play that I'm talking about. But, I mean, the Bills, in my opinion, I thought they absolutely dominated this game. They absolutely dominated the Broncos. But a disaster of a second quarter, more specifically the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, and then, of course, starting the third quarter, is really what did the Bills into that kind of like 3-4 minute stretch, end of the second quarter, start of the third quarter. That's what really did Buffalo in this game. So in the second quarter, the Bills found themselves pretty much knocking on the door of the red zone. Really good drive. And then a fumble by James Cook, which obviously stopped that drive. Big-time turnover forced by this Denver defense. And then the Broncos, at that time, trailing 7-3. They go down, get a touchdown. They take a 10-3 lead. Buffalo able to go right back down and get a field goal with our old friend Matt Prater. About 2 minutes left, and then the Broncos, they get a quick touchdown, and then turnover forced. Awful. I don't know what Josh Allen is doing. I don't know why, honestly, the Bills are really trying to do much. Josh Allen held the ball way too long, bad fumble, resulting in another field goal for Denver to end the first half. And then just like that, start of the third quarter, single play, another quick fumble. Basically the second play of the drive, and then the Broncos able to go down, get another field goal. So, just like that, I mean, just going from that second quarter into that start of the third quarter, you take away at least 3 points from the Bills that they could have gotten on that drive that they had the fumble lost on. So that's the 3-point swing right there, and then you got, the 3 points that they did get, and then you got the touchdowns in there, field goals. So that's a huge swing in favor of the Broncos, especially just right there, the end of the second quarter into the third quarter. The Denver Broncos touchdown and the 2 field goals, that's a quick 13-0 swing in favor of the Broncos. But despite that, this game's still going to overtime. Buffalo playing strong the rest of the way, and then I we'll give him credit. Big pass by Bo Nix to get that late touchdown to give the Broncos the late lead before the Bills able to kick the field goal to tie to force overtime. But then in overtime, quick 3-and-out, quick stop by the Bills defense against the Broncos. The Bills get it, and on a third down, in midfield, a big pass from Josh Allen to James Cook. Sorry, the wrong Cook. Brandon Cooks. Long pass to Brandon Cooks. And he kind of tumbled with the safety, Jaquan McMillan, the cornerback. Took a tumble. And the ball kind of ripped away, and McMillan had it, and they actually ruled it an interception. Now, what I'm puzzled about this play is, really close. You need all these different angles just to see what happened. And I actually watched the replay. The NFL actually on YouTube uploaded the full overtime, so you can actually see the live broadcast, just the overtime. It was like barely a minute after that. They're already lining it up with the Broncos and going on. I don't know how there's not an extensive review on this play. I mean, you got second quarter, a first down in the second quarter in a week 5 game that'll take 6-7 minutes to review. But then this in a playoff game in overtime, it's immediate, and then you go on. I don't understand that. But in my opinion, Brandon Cooks caught this ball. I mean, he obviously, McMillan in there tying it up a little bit. Maybe see a little bit movement, but in my opinion, I thought Cooks controlled that long enough to where he should have been considered downed, and then the ball came out. Didn't really truly lose possession of the ball until after it could have been considered down, in my opinion, based on how I saw it. Multiple different angles, different slow-mos. I just don't understand how that was ruled an interception. I can see it being ruled an interception by default from the beginning, and then they review it. But they really didn't review it. They just kept going. And that's what I'm most puzzled with. And, I mean, but there's a precedent with this. It's not like this is a one-of-a-kind play. This is, this has happened similar before, even in the playoffs, even the same, like not even 24 hours later, we had a similar play with the Rams and Bears. I mean, I definitely think that Devontae Adams had a lot more control in his play, but they ruled it in favor of the receiver. Had a play last year between the Chiefs and Bills, same sort of thing, and I think the Chiefs wide receiver had way less control, arguably, than Brandon Cooks did for the Bills. But they ruled it. That's what the precedent is. It's usually the benefit goes to the receiver, goes to the offensive player. And if you want to call it a tie-up, whatever, with McMillan, tie goes to the runner. Like in baseball, tie goes to the wide receiver. And that's been the precedent set. So to, by default, favor the defensive player and then not even have any sort of extensive review like that, that's what's puzzling to me. And that Gene Steratore, whoever, the official analyst on the broadcast, I mean, come on. He seems like he's just trying to cover for the NFL. And the fact that the NFL is trying to sweep this under the rug and try to move on tells me how bad they messed up. And I think Gene Steratore actually had a poll on his Twitter that he actually ran, like, was this a catch or was this a interception? And I think it was 80-20 in favor of being a catch. If you take Broncos fans and if you take Bills fans out of the equation, and even with a bunch of national media talking heads, too, including Colin Cowherd, who has been a big Broncos guy this whole season, all pretty much almost nearly unanimous that this is a catch and not an interception. So pretty crazy call, which would have set the Bills up in field goal position to win the game, but instead it's a turnover. Am I saying that? And I think it's silly, actually, for Bills fans to blame this on the loss, because I think that disastrous end to the second quarter, start of the third quarter, that's really what did it. And again, the Broncos, this was emblematic of their season, a fluke win. You force all those turnovers, but you still need overtime to win. Of course, they made a big deal about Bo Nix and all these game-winning drives. Well, I'd argue a good quarterback wouldn't need game-winning drives to beat half the teams that he's needed to get game-winning drives against this season. So again, a very fluky team. I felt the Broncos this season, very fluky win in this one. And as a result, it's cost Sean McDermott his job. Bills firing him this morning. Head coach of the Buffalo Bills, no more. So again, craziest game in my opinion of the four this weekend.
If you missed today's installment of On the Docket, podcast it at foxsports1019.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to tune in live weekdays at noon on Jackson's Fox Sports 101.9 FM.